Moshe Yehuda ben Binyamin.
Moshe Yehuda ben Binyamin. They're learning their neshama should have an aliyah, should go higher.
He maybe over 1,000. Over 1,000, maybe 1,200 came out from him, and 99 are Shomer Torah mitzvahs. That's from Seattle, raising 6 kids in Seattle. 99 are Shomer Torah mitzvahs today. Yeah, 100 from.
We're on Masechta Pesachim.
Yeah.
Gimel Amud Aleph. So we had a machlokes ur la'arbot. So what does ur mean? Ur means night or ur means day. We established that ur means night, according to most opinions, and we brought a lot of rayas to that. And we continue to bring rayas. It says, I'm a pelas or l'shmoni ve'echad. So when a woman gave birth to a male child, so she was tameh for 7 days, and then for the next 33 days, even if she bleeds, those are called demei tohar. And on day 40, so the night of day 41, she brings korbanos, and then she can eat, kodshim. If she gave birth to a female, she was tameh for 14 days, and then she was tahor for 66 days, and on the 81st day, in the daytime, they brought korbanos. Now, it was possible in an 80-day period to get pregnant again. So if she got pregnant and had a miscarriage, so if the miscarriage happened within the 80 days, she could get away pottering both childbirths, the original one 80 days before, and the other one maybe 40 days before with one korban. But if she had the miscarriage after she brought her korbanos on the 81st day, of course, she'd have to bring a separate set of korbanos for the miscarriage. So amapelas or lishmonim ve'echad. If she had a miscarriage the night after the 80th day, going into the 81st day, but at night, Beis Shammai poitrin mi korban. Beis Shammai holds that you cannot bring korbanos during the nighttime. So this woman miscarried before the opportunity to even bring korbanos on the 81st day. So therefore, Beis Shammai holds that when this woman brings her korbanos on the 81st day, she will take care of both pregnancies. Beis Hillel mechayvin. Beis Hillel says no, because Beis Hillel says that once she hits the 81st day, we don't care day or night, that's as if she miscarried after she brought her korbanos. Because technically, you bring the korbanos on the 81st day, and that's it's past the 80 days where if she brings the miscarriage within 80 days, the second korban, the korban will pater the miscarriage. Now, obviously, we're bringing this baraisa because it says amapelas or lishmonim ve'echad, and we're going to say that. What does that mean? It means the night of the 81st. So we're bringing more evidence that or means the night. But meanwhile, the Gemara completes the quotation of the baraisa. I mean, what's the difference? The night, the day switches the previous night. So says Beis Hillel, what's the difference between the night and the day? You agree, Beis Shammai, that if she has her miscarriage tomorrow, she's going to be chayiv. So therefore, it's the same day. It's the same calendar day. It should make no difference. Now, for our purposes, what's the difference between the night of the 81st and the day of the 81st? So there's no greater raya. Shma mina or tohu. The word or refers to the night. Shma mina. Beisvei. I'll show you another proof. So the din is a korban shlomim, most korbanos, a korban Pesach, a korban Toda, a korban, a Bechor, a Meiser, a korban Chatis. Virtually every korban that is brought and eaten, you have only one day to eat it, right? If Monday morning you shech the korban, you have to do zrikas sadam in the day. You can burn the Evar Mupdorim at night, but by the next morning, by Tuesday morning, it's noiser. Anything remaining has to be burned. So you only have one day to eat it. However, a korban shlomim is eaten for Monday and Tuesday. So it's eaten Monday night, Tuesday day, and you can't eat it Tuesday night anymore. So yachol yeinechol or lishlishi. So I might think you could eat the shlomim even the night of the third day, vidinu, and it's a kavachomer. Zvachim nechol liyom echad. All other korbanos are eaten for 24 hours. Ushlamim nechol l'shnei yom. Shlamim is eaten for 2 days. Malahol and laila acharayom. Just like by regular korbanos, Kodshim doesn't work like our calendar. Kodshim works the night follows day. That means you can't shecht something at night. So you have in the morning to shecht, and then you can eat the korban at night as well. You can't offer it, but you have the night follows day. Malan lailach rayom, you're allowed to eat at night after the afkan lailach rayom. So by a shlomim, since you're allowed to eat on that second day, Lila should follow Yom, and you should be able to eat as well the night following the day. Talmud Loimar. So it says by the Korban Shlomim, B'yom zivchachem ye'achel, u'mimocharas, v'hanoiser ad yoim. So, b'od yoim unechal, you can only eat it in the day. Ve'eno nechal or shlishim, you can't eat it the night following the second day. Okay, says the Gemara, Yachol Yusarf Miyad, fine. So you should have now a requirement that anything left over from this korban should be burnt right away, meaning the night going into that third day, Vidinu. Regular korbanos are eaten for the day and the night. A shlamim is eaten Monday night and Tuesday. So malahalam by regular korbanos like a Pesach, tekef lachila sreifa. Next morning, the moment you cannot eat it anymore, you got to burn it already because it's noiser. Afkan. So here as well by a shlamim, tekef lachila sreifa. Maybe the burning of the whatever remains of this korban should be burnt right away. You shouldn't have to wait till the morning. You should burn it at night, the night of the third. Talmud Loimar. It says very clearly you have to wait to burn the noiser the morning of the third day. Okay. From the fact that it says very clearly, I might think that you could eat or l'shlishi, the night of the third, as opposed to the morning. Alma or to. It's again a raya that the word or refers to the night. Shma mina, we have another good proof. Toshma, I'll give you another proof. Or shel Yom Kippurim. This refers to Kol Nidre night, the night of Yom Kippur. Mispalo Sheva u'misvadeh. Our Shmona Esrei has 7 brachos, and we have vidui at the end of Shmona Esrei. We say Hashamnu, we say Alchet. Shachris, Mispalo Sheva u'misvadeh. Shachris, we also daven 7 and we do vidui. Ba Musaf, Mispal Sheva Misvada. Ba Mincha, Mispal Sheva Misvada. And then there's a missing piece. It says B'Ne'ilah. There's another tefillah, Ne'ilah, which Mispal Sheva Misvada. Ba Arvis, the night Motzei Yom Kippur, Mispal Me'ein Shmona Aser. You don't have to say a full Shmona Esrei. You can say a shorting a shortened version, havinenu. Why? People are hungry. They want to go home to eat. However, no, you cannot say the havinenu for a very specific reason. We say our havdalah in atachoine, and you don't have atachoine in the havinenu. Now, whatever we want to say, this brisa clearly says or shalim kippur, referring to kol nidre night, alma or ortahu. You see very clearly the word or refers to the night of. And now comes the final proof, Toshma. The Tani Dvei Shmuel, it was learned Yeshiva Shmuel, Leile Arba Asar, Boitkim Nesachometz L'Oraner. Well, here it says it, the Pemole, the night of the 14th, we do B'dikas Chometz, Alma or Ortahu. Instead of saying Or L'Arba Asar, could have said Leil Arba Asar. But it's a clear raya that or means Laila. And in fact, that's what the Gemara concludes. Bein Ravuna, Bein Rav Yudah, the Kulama or Ortahu. Everybody holds or it means the night. Lo pligi marki asrei or marki asrei. The machlokas is what word to use. But asrei Ravuna kori nagi. Ravuna, they called it light. They called the night light. Nagi means night, like a nahor, like nahoira, which means light. The Asri Rav Yehuda Kori Laila, where Rav Yehuda was, they both referred to the night of. They just called it different terms. Now, here comes a very obvious question. Tana didon my time eloktoni lele. The yeshiva of Shmuel said very clearly, Leil arbos, arbot ken sachametz. How come the Tana of our Mishnah used the word ur la'arbasa, which created this whole confusion? What are we talking about? So the Gemara answers, Lishna ma'ayu denoka. The word or is a nicer word than the word laila. Kidreshu ben Levi, Dormeshu ben Levi, la'olam al yoitzi adam davar maguna mepiv. A person should be very careful what words he utters. He should choose his words carefully. And Laila is not as nice of a word as Ur. Now, where do we see this concept? The Torah is written with very extreme digduk. Every letter has its place, and an extra letter, we darshan tons of halachas on an extra letter. Yet the Torah took the trouble of writing 8 extra letters rather than say something not nice. Shenema, min habeima toira, umin habeima asher tmeya. But it didn't say tmeya. It said asher einenet tohara. It said it's not tohar, even though it used 8 extra letters beyond the word tmeya or tome. Right? Aleph Shin Reish. Asher Umina Beimot Tmei. Aleph Shin Reish. Aleph Yud Nun Hey. Tev Hey Reish Hey. Minus Tmei. Yeah. So it's 8 extra words, 8 extra letters. Rav Papa Amar Teisha. No, the Torah used an extra letter. Shenemar. Ki Yevacha Ish. Asher lo yiyeh tohar mikre laila. Instead of saying ish, ki yebecha ish tamei. So there's 9 letters different. Ravina Omar Eser, because vav de tohar is an extra letter. Ravacha bar Yaakov Amar Sheshesrei. I'll show you another raya. Shneamar ki amar mikrehu bilti tahor hu ki lo tahor. Right? Instead of saying just tamei, it used all those extra words to say that he's not tohor, that he's tamei. Tandaver b'shmuel olam yisaper adam b'loshen nikiya. A person should speak with a very clean language. Sharei bezav, when it talks about that, when a zav or a zava sits on something, they transmit tumah to what they sit on. But it's actually a very big chiddush because, for example, if a zav sits on 10 mattresses piled up one on top of each other, and he sits on the top mattress, all the mattresses that he sits on, not just the one that he's sitting right on top of, but all the other 9 are tamei. Or if he sits on a couch, everything that's on the couch becomes tamei. So that's the tumas of Moshav u'Merkav. However, by a zav, it says Merkav. Merkav refers to riding a horse with your legs straddling the horse. Uvi'isha kro Moshav. It didn't use the word Merkav by a woman. It used the word her seat because it's not polite to speak about a woman riding a horse with her legs straddling the horse. But the word Merkav means that. It doesn't mean riding side saddle. It means you ride it in a way that you sort of can grasp the horse with your legs to keep your balance. Okay, so we see the Torah uses a cleaner language. Then the Gemara says, V'oimer, and you should know, V'tivchar l'shon arumim, even those that are wise choose their language carefully. V'omer v'das fosai borur milelu. So what are these extra psukim coming to teach? Because maybe the original proofs that you brought for me were psukim from the Torah. Ava b'drabanan, when Chazal talk in the Mishnah, maybe there is no impetus for clean language. Toshma, v'oimer v'tivchar l'shon arumi. V'chitei ma'animili b'drabanan. Fine, that's rabbinic teaching. Aval mili ba'alma, but it's just regular conversation. Who says we have to be careful with our words? V'oimer v'das fosai barur milelu. Freik the Gemara, v'isha lo yiksiv b'merkav? What, by a woman that doesn't ever write that she sat on a horse straddling it? V'achsiv. V'takam Rivka v'narosea, v'terkavna al hagmalim. It says Rivka rode the camel in a way of merkav. Hasa mishum biyututa gmalim orchahi. Yeah, camels are wild and they're tall, and it's not easy to sit side saddle on a camel. So therefore, that's the only way to ride a camel. And therefore, that's why the Torah can use the word tirkavna lagmalim by Rivka. Ay v'aksiv v'ikach Moshe ishto bet panav v'yarkivem al hachamor. Moshe took Tzipora, his wife, and his children, and he placed them on the chamor. And it says the word merkav. Hasam mishum banav orcho. That's because the males were riding. So you can use the lashon rechiva. This is by Abigail, who wanted to go to David HaMelech to save her husband Naval. So Hassan, there's a reason why she's riding that way. Mishum biyutu to the Leila. It's nighttime, and she's not confident, so it's easier to ride the horse that way. Orchu, the boy said mishum biyutu to the Leila. Lekab mishum biyutu to the David Ikka. She was afraid of confronting David HaMelech. The boy said biyutu to the David nami lekab mishum biyutu to the Harika. Since she was riding on a mountain, it was scary on the mountain, so it's acceptable to ride merkav in that way. Okay, says the Gemara, the Raisa miloksiv tamei. Fine, you showed me examples in the Torah where instead of writing tamei, it says einena tohora, but there are other places where it writes tamei. So what's the rule? Whenever the number of letters are the same, you should try to use a clean language. If there's more words the other way, you should use tamei. But however, the Torah gave us examples in a few places of using a clean language. There's a reason to use less letters or less words. When you teach to a Talmud, it's easier for him to remember. So what? When you have equal words, you should lean towards a nicer, more honorific language. It says, V'hi rochevet ala chamor. It could have said Yoshevet, which is exactly the same number of letters and some more kavadik a word. So it says rochevet, see, without a vav. So there were less letters than Yoshevet, and that's the reason. Hanu tre talmidi davu Yosvi kamei de Rav. Two students were in front of Rav. Chad amar shuvisinin hay shmaitza kedover acher misankon. Boy, this lesson was so hard. It's like a dover acher refers to a pig. Like a goat. And he never looked at the other student again because he used wrong language. Two students in front of Hillel. One of them was a Yochanan Zakai. Army law, other people say that this Maisa occurred in front of Rebbe. How come we harvest grapes b'tahara? They ain't moiskin b'tahara, but we don't pluck olives b'tahara. The other word, rather than said ein moiskin b'tahara, he used the word tumma. Omar, so either Hillel said or Rebbe said, Muftachani bazeh, by Rabbi Yochanan, Shemoyra Rabbi Yisrael, he's going to be a Moira Hira. And it wasn't a few days went by until he was a Moira Rabbi Yisrael. Because you could see by him choosing the right language, using a moiskin b'tahara as opposed to moiskin b'tuma, it was a simon that he was destined for great things. Hanu tlasa kahani. There were three kohanim. Chadar malahu igiyani kafo. That the lechem aponim, I got a good piece like a pole, like a lentil. Chadar igiyani kazayas. Says, boy, I got a kazayas. Chadar igiyani kiznaval to. The other person says like a lizard's tail. Now a lizard is a sheretz. So they knew that there's something wrong with this guy. They found that he had bad yichus. He was not a kohen. That means once you see that his relative, was working on the mizbeach, there's no reason to check. And from here, it seems like we're ready to get rid of somebody's yichus right away. What says lo tema shemetz psul, elema shachatz psul. He was a gaivedika person. He had bad midos, not bad yichus. Boy say mashani awesome the ira nafshe. No, because he was a kalkal himself. So even if you have the chazak about mizbech and your ancestors, but if a person shows that by himself that he might have a problem with his yichus, you can challenge his yichus. Hahu arma, there was an Aramean, a non-Jew. A non-Jew is not allowed to partake in the Korban Pesach. Kol area lo yochal boy. Kol ben meichar lo yochal bo. Kol area lo yochal bo. So there was an arma, he used to sneak into chaburas, and he would eat from the Korban Pesach. Omar, and he showed up to the group, and he said, "Kol ben nachal lo yochal bo." It says in your Torah, goyim are not allowed to eat. Kol oreh lo yochal bo. Uncircumcised can't eat. V'anoach achilim mishufri shufri. And I ate from the best. He was bragging. And Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira heard about this. Amar le Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, so Rabbi Yehuda said to him, "Mikasafu lach ma'alya? Did they give you a piece from the tail?" Now, Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira knew that the tail of a Korban Pesach is burnt. They don't eat that. But the goy didn't know that. And Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira made it sound like, wow, that's the best meat. They must have given you from the tail. Amar leilo? No, they didn't give me from the tail. So therefore, when the Armal went back to Shalayim, Kisok lasam emaluhu, he told the Chabura, Sfuli me'ali, I want from the tail. Or I guess Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira told him, when you go back, ask from the tail. So Kisolak Amru me'ali Sfuli. So he had asked the Chabura to give me from the tail. Amru lei, ayel gavoa salkim. The tail is offered on the Mizbeach. Amru lei, so they asked him, Mana Amr lacha, who told you to ask from the tail? Amr lahu Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira. So the Aramean told them Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, Amru, my hide to come. Well, what's this all about? They knew that Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira is sending them a message. Rabbi Yehuda knows the halacha that you don't eat from the tail. So Badku, but it all of a sudden alerted them, Basrei, Vashkechud Ramo, and they investigated. It was a katlu, and they killed him. How could they kill him? There's an Isser, but there's no Misa. It's not one of the mitzvahs of Bnei Noach. Because of the Chil Hashem that happened, it was a Hoyrosha, says the Steinsaltz. So, Shalchulei Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, Shalom lach Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira. Peace unto you, Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira. The At ben Nitzivin, you are up in the Galil. Umetzudasach prusa, and your wings spread all the way to Yerushalayim. That means he knew how to transmit messages so that he got his point across. Rav Kahana Chalash, Rav Kahana got sick. Shadua Rabbon Rabbi Yeshua Brei de Ravidi. They sent Rabbi Yeshua, the son of Ravidi, to visit. Amrulei, Zil Bedok my dine. Go see how he's doing. Also, when he got there, Rav Kahana died. Kare Levusha, he tore Kriya, but he turned the Kriya behind him so they wouldn't understand too quickly that he had died. Ubachi cried, and then he came. Amrle nach nafshe. They said, did he die? Amrlo anolo kamina. Anolo kamina motzi di bahuksil. I'm not going to be the bearer of bad news. So if you can avoid saying bad news, you should try to avoid it. Or you have to say it in a way that they'll understand. Yochanan chakuka nafak l'kiryasa. Yochanan went to the villages. Kiyasu amrlei chitin nasu yafois. Or when he came back, the people asked him, how is the wheat doing? Amrleim so'ori nasu yafois. He said the barley is doing okay, which is a signal to them that the wheat is not doing good. So they said to him, but we don't eat barley. Go tell the horses and the donkeys. That means he didn't use the right language. So the Gemara wants to know, what should he have said? He should have said, last year, the wheat was good, which they would understand means this year the wheat's not good. Or inami adoshim nasuyam, rather than say so'orim are good, which people don't eat, they should say lentils are good because people eat lentils. Okay. So, Mirz Hashem, we will learn tomorrow.